Hi, I'm Raquel, and this is Law Librarian Plans. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm starting with a little slideshow because I'm introducing my planner setup series called SEISE 2026. And that second S is not a typo. Let me explain. C stands for Select, Evaluate, Invest, Set Up, and Enjoy. In today's video, I'm going to go through my selection process for my planners. Your process might be a little bit different, and I'll explain why. Most people will first evaluate their planners to see if they're using the right planner for them. But for me, I start with the selection process because I have found planner peace in the layouts that I use. So I know which layouts work for me for what. So then I have to select which planners I'm going to use. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you what I selected and why. The selection process is pretty simple. You have to select a planner that fits your needs. If your planners are not working for you, you then have to see what planners are out there, what's not working, etc., and then go and select a planner. But if you have already planners layouts that you like, or you simply cannot afford to find another planner, then you have to see what do you have in your stash? What can you do? So you shop your stash, see what's available. And also considering your tolerance for dating and redating. If you're not a person who likes to spend the time dating your planner or redating a planner, which can be even more challenging, then perhaps you do need to buy a planner. You don't need all the planners. You need a planner to help you with getting your things together and help you run your life as smoothly as possible. The last thing I want to mention about selecting is to consider printables or inserts. Sometimes the monthly layout may not be as useful and you don't use it, or you don't mind having the old layout, or you could cover the layout, etc. Now, printables and inserts are great because you can reuse your cover, you can reuse your disc or your rings, and then all you have to do is add what you need to be able to plan that year. So printables and inserts can be very helpful that way. And I'm going to show you an insert that I'm going to use next year for some of my planning. So with that, let's stop the video and we're going to take a look now at what I've selected and I'll explain why. I mentioned that I already know what layouts I'm going to be using next year. I had, at the beginning of this year, a stash of 32 planners in storage. I am not kidding you, 32 planners. That's because for a while I was buying planners on clearance. Every time I would see a planner I liked, I would buy it on clearance. For the most part, undated planners. There's a dated planner or two that I selected and then didn't use, or that I found on clearance and I said, it's too beautiful, I've got to have it, right? So that's how we landed where we landed. So this is my planner stack, or part of my planner stack for 2026, and I'll just introduce you to it very quickly. And we'll talk about it more when we talk about our evaluation process and whatnot. So the first one, or rather, let me backtrack for a sec. The way that I select from my stash of planners is I would like to see a cohesive sort of theme or look across the covers. It's not that I'm looking at the covers all the time because I Frankenplan, but I kind of want to use all the similar planners the same year. So that's how we landed here. I found a few planners that are pretty, have pretty colors and florals, and I thought, okay, so this is going to be a year of florals. I have a whole different theme planned for 2027. I'm very excited about that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. All right, so the first one that I have here is a monthly layout, and this is a homebody design, so very, very pretty colors. Let me see if I can move the stack out of the way, somewhere where it's not visible and distracting us. So there we have it. So for those of you who do not know what a monthly layout is, I'm going to go to the layout pages. You have this dashboard, a monthly dashboard, and it's sort of goals oriented, but you can do pretty much anything. You can just cover up pieces and whatnot. And then the weeklies are these 8 spots that have a bulleted list of 6 items. So this is an older monthly, and the way I know it is an older monthly is for a couple of reasons. First, it's this currently page. This is not the current style that Happy Planner uses. And secondly, because they're shaded things here. So shaded boxes in this side. There's a quote there. The current ones, the newer ones don't have anything, no quote. And again, shaded boxes, a lot of color. I mean, black and gray, but color. Okay. So this is going to be my goals planner for 2026. I have had a goals planner for many years. I follow the Moxie Life system, which has 8 life areas. And as I mentioned, each week has 8 spots. The last week of the month is weird, but basically 8 spots. Now, the only challenge with this is that they give you exactly 4 weeks. And as you know, some months have, you know, a little bit more in them. And so that's going to be a challenge. And when we talk about my evaluate video, I will get more into that and figure out exactly how I'm going to tackle that challenge next year, because it already messed me up once and I want to try to avoid that from happening again. All right. So that's my goals planner. I'm going to set it aside on that side. Next up is my Catchall. And for my Catchall, I have another very pretty kind of floral cover that I'm using. And, my Catchall is a dashboard layout. This is also on a dated one. Notice that this one came with labels. Not all of them came with like the month labels for the tabs. I have plenty of month labels for tabs, so I'm not worried about that. So we have a newer style currently page, then our monthly, and then the weekly dashboards. And I confirmed this by counting them. So here we have it. So the dashboard layout weekly. Dashboard layout weekly has a dashboard page that sort of is for the whole week, and then you have the days of the week. At the top left, this is an older one. It's not an old one, but it's an older one in that it has the days of the week. The newest ones that I've seen do not have the days of the week. They just have this box with the lines and nothing else, so you can do whatever you want with it. I do use the days of the week, so I don't mind. And the way that I use this is I use the right side to put things that are happening on a specific day, and the left side is for my to-dos, etc. We'll look more at that when we talk about evaluating. The other thing to know about these undated planners from the Happy Planner is, at least until whenever I bought these, the undated planners, except for that monthly that I showed you just a minute ago, they have 6 weeks worth of layouts per month. So that's something that when you're setting up, you want to pay attention to. Because I screwed up a few times with that. So I'll tell you more about that when we talk about setup, when we do the setup video. All right, so that's number 2. The third planner in my stack for next year, in my stack, is this horizontal Color Me Happy. Very pretty colors. Again, not a floral, but I thought the color scheme kind of goes with everything else, so I kind of liked it. And this is also an undated planner, horizontal. This is an older style horizontal. It has this kind of currently page. You have your monthly, and then you have your horizontal pages. And it's an older pre-2005 in that it doesn't have the checklist. Now 2026 planners also are coming out without the checklist, is my understanding. So if this is what you like, just look at the 2026 planners. But again, 6 weeks. I use this for my journal diary. So I don't write a lot. So this much space, even with decorations, is plenty for me for most weeks. I'll tell you more about what I'm going to do for a journal next year. But yeah, very useful. It works for me. All right. 6 weeks worth of weeklies, again, because it's undated. Next up is my social media planner. And I picked up this planner earlier this year when the July through June planners came out. I love this cover, and I picked it solely for the cover. Then discovered it was a dashboard, and the other planner that I picked up mid-year was a vertical, and I needed a dashboard, so I switched the guts, basically is what I did. And here we have it. So this is a vertical, not a dashboard as it was originally intended. This is a dated planner, so it has the 2 years, the current year and the following year, again, because this is a July to June planner. Then you have your year at a glance. I expect this is going to be an issue for me for next year because I'm starting this planner in January, but the dashboard starts in the year at a glance starts in July, so I'll have to think about this. We'll talk about this when we talk about setup. All right, next, newer style dashboard, currently dashboard prior to every month. I'm gonna have to redate that. Because obviously this was the way that this was organized. July would have been here, but I moved January in here, not a problem. Then we have your monthly, and then you have your vertical. Pretty standard, not an issue, whatnot.
So January through June, not a problem. No redating, nothing. Everything is great. Everything's copacetic. July, redating. Now, this one starts at the beginning, or the redating happens in the second half of the year. So you already have a previous calendar that you can look at. So it's much easier to redate if you do something like this, because it's less hard to get kind of confused about the redating. Because this is only 6 months, and because of the fact that it's already, the first half of the year is correct, I will redate each month at a time. I'm not going to redate all of it, and it won't cost many problems. I can probably redate in about 5-10 minutes every month. All right, so this is my social media planner, and it's a vertical. This is what I prefer for social media. Next up is fitness, and fitness is where we start having issues. So I'll tell you more about that in a sec. So this is the fitness planner that I have so far. So let me tell you a little story. I thought that there were not going to be any more fitness planners last year, because when I was looking for one for this year, I couldn't find anything. And I ended up buying a 2024, I want to say, on Mercari, and I've been redating it all year, which has been kind of a hassle. And then Happy Planner came out with this undated. And so I bought it because, I was out of planners and I needed a fitness planner for 2026. I didn't pay much attention to what I was doing. I just picked it up because, frankly, it was there and it was undated. And I thought, okay. But when I looked at this, I don't mind. This is not terrible. It doesn't go with the color scheme, but it's really very bright. It's very kid-like. This I love. This is kid-like. This is, sort of, it goes under the clear so you can sort of see it. This I love. I think it's great. I love the color scheme and everything. But then I looked at the dividers, and they are very cartoonish almost, which is not my style at all. I love the fact that the rest of it is very neutral, as most Happy Planners are these days. But the cartoonish dividers are kind of sending me into a tizzy. Also, this title page, I absolutely despise this title page. It's cartoony. It's not for me. If it's for you, if you love cartoony, I think it's great. I just don't love that style. So I'm debating whether I really want to use it, especially with all my other planners being kind of floral and soft colors and whatnot. So, but suffice it to say, this is one possibility. The layout has, this is the currently page, which I do use to set priorities, and I write my progress notes at the end of the month, and I write in these sections. Then we have, of course, a monthly, and then the fitness layout. And the fitness layout has been this way for quite a while, after, I would say, the first couple of years, with a today column, focus, food, and exercise. I use this decoratively, functional, and some functional. And you can watch my other videos to see that. So the layout I love. I just don't love the rest of the planner. I don't love the dividers. I don't love the red discs, plastic discs, etc. So I have two options at this point. I thought Happy Planner was done with fitness planners. Oh, no. They came out with an undated fitness this year. And even though the color scheme is not a color scheme that is a perfect match, I like that it's a really very, very fitness oriented with all sorts of fitness images. Very, very nice. Same exact layout. I suspect the dividers are perfectly fine. I have to double check. Their dividers are more my style, so it would be fine. However, Kell Plan is coming out with a fitness planner. Let me leave this here while I talk. Later this month. So I'm going to hold off and not buy the Happy Planner one. I am taking a risk that it might sell out. And I have a little bit of FOMO. I've been working on that all year. But I really want to wait until I see what Kell Plan comes out with. Because if I like what she has, I might get that. Because I like her paper a lot better than the Happy Planner paper. If I don't like what she brings out and I love her planners, it might not be a layout for me. Then I may consider buying the one from the Happy Planner. But I am trying to figure out in the meantime what to do. And perhaps maybe I do something else. The challenge here is, of course, that the dividers have half of the calendar and the other half is on the page. So what the heck do I do if I get rid of these dividers? Because I do use the calendar. I don't use both sides as much. I use the right side. I put on Fridays my weigh-ins. But that's a problem for a future me. And if I end up keeping this and just changing the dividers and the cover to something I like better, then I will figure that out. This is what we're going to go through this series. We're going to talk about, evaluating. Evaluating is not evaluating this, is evaluating my current system and what works and what doesn't and what needs to be changed. When we get to the setup part, if I decide to keep this, we'll talk about the setup of this. Okay. Next up is my budget planner. And for my budget planner, I have a Kell of a Plan budget planner. This is the 2025 one, so came out last year. I'm kind of a year behind. Not the right color scheme again. So I'm kind of like, oh, but I want it to be in the same color scheme. And someday I'll do brights again, all bright planners, but not this year. So I'm thinking about it. So, and I'm waiting to think about it until I decide what I'm going to do about the fitness planner, because if I choose her fitness planner, I will probably buy also the budget planner if it's available. And that way I save on shipping. So here's the title page, annual financial goals and recurring expenses. Great pages. I will use both of those pages. I actually had to create a page like this in my current planner because it wasn't in the 2024 version, I don't think. Then there's a bill tracker, which I created one for myself. I think, again, because the 2024 didn't have it. Then you have a subscription tracker. Here I'm going to have to make some changes if I end up keeping this planner. I think the new one is the same thing because I don't have quarterly subscriptions, but I have a lot of annual subscriptions, or more than 4. So I'll use this for the annuals. Pay in 4 tracker. Great thing to have there if you use those. Then the debt tracker. Here I have more boxes than I need. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might just use the 2 boxes that I need and I'll leave the rest of it alone. Then, again, setup, retirement savings, great section for me. Donations, I don't itemize, so keeping track of what I donate in terms of taxes, that, and giving it a value. I don't need it, but maybe I'll write stuff here and see what, maybe I'll keep track and see how giving I am this next year. Then we have a blank page, and then we have the monthly. Monthly budget, my favorite monthly budget page of all the monthly budget pages that I've ever seen. And the reason for that is that it's set up with the categories, the general categories, but not specifically within it. What I mean is income. It doesn't say paycheck. It doesn't say whatever. It just says income, and it gives me 4 lines. So I can put my 2 to 3 paychecks a month. I get paid bi-weekly. And then if I have income from Rakuten or something else, I can put it here. Then it gives me bills and fixed expenses. They're not categorized. It's my own bills and fixed expenses, because I may think some fixed expenses are some things that other people might call variable expenses. So, so I can put my sections here, and then same thing with variable expenses. It's just the category. I can put everything here. Same thing with debt. I can put everything here in the summary. What I love about this planner is that there's a budget column and an actual column. So with my bills and fixed expenses, it's very rare that whatever I project, because I usually have the bill in front of me. But some of what I called my fixed expenses are not expenses that are the same amount. So this is very helpful for that reason. Same here. I want to keep track of how much I'm spending in different categories. These are the categories that are, some of them are challenging, some of them are not. And it allows me to readjust my budget every month. If I know, for example, that I have something where I'm going to be spending a lot of money on ride shares, for example, a month like that, I will put more money in my ride share budget. So for that month. So that's how I use this. And then to summarize and see where you are at the end of the month, which I find very useful. Then we have a monthly, which I will show you how I use mine. And then a monthly expense tracker, which to me, I don't know if I would use it because frankly, I don't know. It seems duplicative of this, seems duplicative of other things. For me, it might be very useful for you. It just doesn't work for me. Then we have the weekly pages. And the weekly pages have lines for expenses each day. It also has a list of week's bills. So I do write them there because some of my bills do go into the categories that I keep track of. Some do not. And then of all these lines. So I usually write the name of the vendor and the amount. If it's a vendor that sells many different things, I will write the category instead. For example, Target, where I could be buying house supplies or hardwares or whatever, housewares and so forth, or food. So there's that. Then at the end of the week, I end up adding everything up by category, and then I total it, and then I subtract the total from the starting balance and then from the balance each week, so I know where I am in my spending. All right. This planner also has an additional section in the back, which has some additional helpful pages, a savings tracker page, a couple of those rather, then budget plan pages. And these are to plan for something. You can plan for an event, you could plan for a trip, you could plan for pretty much anything. So for example, for Chicago Planner Conference, category, travel and housing, for example. So I could put my plane ticket and my hotel, food, swag, pre-conference merchandise, swag, table mate gifts, that sort of thing. So that's how these pages work. Then you have a few of those, you have 2 of those. Then you have an online order tracker, which is fantastic. I think it's very helpful, especially during the holidays when you're buying from a lot of places. And then a savings tracker in this style, which is kind of there's some stickers that go here. So it's a visual savings tracker, and then some blank pages. All right, so that is my possible budget planner. So if I end up picking up the other one, it's going to be very similar, different covers. All right, now let's talk about inserts. I mentioned that inserts and printables may be an option, and they are for me. So I have a monthly insert from Life Planner Action. I'm going to go ahead and open that for you to show you what it looks like. And the reason I'm using this is because this is where I plan my social media or my planners for the month. It's not my social media, but how I'm going to decorate my planners. I plan that a month in advance. I don't decorate a month in advance, but there you go. You hear my planners fall. I do plan a month in advance because it's easier for me to sit down for an hour and plan every layout, what I'm going to use once a month, than do it every week. It would take me longer if I were doing it every week. Analysis paralysis is real, people. It has a year in a glance. I don't use that. I might. We'll see. I haven't used it yet. And then just a very plain old monthly. So lots of space. Right now I'm using something that's a half a page, and it's not enough space for what I'm doing, especially now that I'm on YouTube. So what I love is that Bess from Life Planner Action lets you select whether you want them to be continuous or whether you want to have a dot grid page in between each month. And I choose that style because there I could probably brainstorm ideas for things for the month. I could write notes. I could do all sorts of things in that space. So I'm very excited about using this next year. Now, one of the challenges that I have, and again, the evaluation portion or the setup is what I'm going to think about this more. I don't know if I want this separate from my social media planner or if I want it within the planner. So I have these dividers, and I actually have a different set of them, which is in use right now, but because these are double-sided, they can be reused. So the other set has neutral colors and it's closer to the color scheme. But these are from Kell. She has a couple of different sets now on her website, and they're double-sided. So you don't have to worry about the calendar. So I have those on tap in case I need them. So next up, I want to show you 2 other things. So I mentioned first that I had planned for another journal. And this is something in my stash. It's actually partially used, as you can see here. This is an Archer and Olive A5 dot grid, super heavy duty, fabulous paper notebook, very, very thick, which I love. I'm going to be using this as a diary. So the way I've used it in the past, and let me see if I actually have any blank pages that I can show you. I don't think I do, but we can look. I've used up every page. Yeah. So I don't have any blank pages that I can show you, but the way I've used this in the past is I've used this for travel because I can use a 2-page spread and keep track of all the things that I like to keep track of without having to bring my other planners. But I'm going to be setting up spreads ahead of time just so I have pages where I can write things. So when I'm having a particularly bad day or something like that, that I can come in here and write about it some more. Beyond the space that you saw in my horizontal journal. So this lovely is going to move into the usual rotation. It will be decorated on camera. And then the last planner that I have, which I don't have a new one to replace it, is my work planner. And let's see if I can find a space that's blank so I can show you what I currently use. Okay. This is decorated, but it's blank. So I use a dashboard planner, also from the Happy Planner for Work. It works really well for me. But But this planner goes through June of next year. This is the other July through June planner that I bought. So this is the guts from that one with the embroidered flower. And so I have this until June. So at that point, and sometime in May, I will look at my stash and see if I have another blank one. This one is dated. So this is great for now. I'm going to have to redate for January to June. And then beyond that, I'm going to look at what's in my stash. And if I find something that fits on theme and I like it, great. This, I don't have to worry so much about being a perfect match for the theme because frankly, it's a work planner, so it's different. It could be pretty much anything. If I don't find a planner in my stash that works, and see, it doesn't have the days of the week here. If I don't find one of those in my stash, then I will be looking at the mid-year release to find another work planner. But this is the layout that works for me. We're going to talk about this when we evaluate as well. So that is the last one of my planners. It's just not one that I have a replacement for. So with that, let's quickly recap. We have, and these are not going to be in any order because now they're in stashes in my floor, or maybe they will be. My goals planner, which is a monthly. My Catchall planner, which is a dashboard. My journal diary, which is a horizontal. My social media, which is a vertical, so guts that were transposed. My fitness planner, which is still very much under review. And my budget planner, which is also under review, not the planner, but perhaps buying a different looking one so that I can follow my whole system. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to follow the rest of my videos in this series and the videos that I post most days, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching today and have a nice day. Bye.